Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, July 14th. We are looking at Window Trader's market profile of SPY, IWM, and triple Qs. And again, the market, it's getting more and more interesting, which I think at some point is going to be really good for us because I could just feel the volatility wanting to pick up. It's been incredible. Basically, all we did today was stretch yesterday's all-time high to a new high, stretch yesterday's low. We're firmly in a three-day balance, which encompasses just today's range. Triple Qs did the same exact thing as we did as far as making a new high, barely by 2 cents. I mean, there's no excess at their all-time high. There's no real excess at all at our all-time high. But they came in, they end 10 wide. They never took out yesterday's low. Russell has some issues. Russell, 3 sets of single prints, B, C, D. Price probe to the downside. They did get 8 wide, never got 9 wide, but they're barely above last week's low. If we don't hold last week's low and we start getting acceptance below that in Russell, you're going to start getting some more acceleration, I think, to the downside, down to around the 213 level, and then eventually the 208 level if they start taking out some other weekly reference points. As far as we're concerned, so let me put it up front. Financially, I had a good day. Mentally, it was incredibly draining. I did something that really frustrated me, put me in a huge hole on a trade, but I worked my way out of most of it. And then my other trades on the day were good, so I ended up green. We'll go over all that right now. So once again, we opened, and I said I'm going to see if they front run the overnight high and the all-time high, and I'll take a put. And I did in A period. I took the 439 put play that expired today. Now we did take out both, but we didn't get much for it. And when we came back down around the opening, I took it off. So it was a good trade to start the day. B period. We start one-time framing down. We go against the opening. I took a short against the opening. Again, 439 puts. Worked out. C period. Same thing. No single prints, but we're one-time framing down. So took a short. Again, that worked out. So A, B, and C on shorts worked out very nicely. Now, I didn't take one in D or E. I was like, well, we're not going trend just yet. I'll see. And then all of a sudden, boom, D flushes out. Should have gotten on board. I did not. So what happened? D and E flush out, get right, take out yesterday's low, these 2 days lows, but barely. Now we have not a huge set of single prints, but it was okay. I'm like, well, let's see now if we have a chance for an outside day down. I wasn't expecting an outside day down. I really wasn't. In fact, in D period, my mentor asked me, do we see a new high on the day or do we see a possible outside day down? And quote, I said to him, this is in D period, up here, not down here. I said, I think the high of the day is in. It was. I said, I think we do get yesterday's low. We did. I said, but I think the odds of an outside day down are at best 50-50. And we didn't. So here's where my frustration came in. I called it perfectly, yet didn't take the short in D or E, but took the short in F against singles. Now, I wasn't expecting an outside day down, but I thought we would at least one more time come down and test yesterday's low. So I started a short in F. Filled single prints. I'm like, that's okay. Got short here. Now we had the other set of single prints. Now again, this was not the right trade to stay in. And I told the room that. I said, look, I am now being officially stubborn. I said, value is still overlapping a higher. My goal is if they fill the last set of single prints to back off and pull value down with it. So by the time we got up to G's high, I had a load of puts out about 15,000 on the trade. My line in the sand was really A's low, because if we had gotten up to A's low at that point, POC would never have been lowered, and it would have been right back there. And that would have told me I'm in trouble. That's all the sellers wanted to do. Now, the sellers really didn't do much more, but it gave me a reprieve, because then in G and H, as you can see, came down. Now, my profile has been messed up on H period lately. I don't know why it goes below G, but it has 2 days in a row. So I went from basically a $14,000 loss. I finally took it off, lost $3,000 on that trade. Now, I was down on the day, not a lot, because I had made money on those first 3 trades in A, B, and C, but I was down. And I was really upset at myself because of what I said about calling it and then getting stubborn. And then the next trade I took was in L. I said, well, we were now 8 wide. I said, I think the odds of coming down 9 wide are good. So when we got right above J's high, I took 150 put. And by the way, the F trade was 437 puts. I did 3 different strikes. I did 439 in A and B. I did 438 in C and L, 437 in F. So when we came up in L, I took 150 puts. Basically nailed the high I was going to use. Now again, I'm in 4s. At the time, value high was not up here. So I was going to either be out above value high and or C's high. Never had to worry about it. Rolled right over, came in, and took them off. Actually took them off before we even took out K's low. But it turned out to be a nice trade. So P&L wise, I did fine. Even with that $3,000 loss. I mean, I did okay on the day. That's not the point. The point is seeing the market, calling it right, and then getting yourself in that kind of trouble. I keep it real here. Yeah, I hope whoever watches these videos, you get the real thing here. Okay, on both sides of the market, whether I did well or I did poorly. So I hope you at least give me credit for that. As far as destinations for tomorrow, we did end 9 wide. It's an upside destination. 436.51, C's low. Now, I'm going to be using 2 things for reference points on the high and the low. They are not textbook. I'm just using them as a guide for me for tomorrow. Afternoon rally high, L, 437.08. And then today's all-time high, 437.92. For the downside, I am going to use H's low as a pullback, just something to lean on tomorrow, or see what happens if we get there, of 435.82. And then we don't have anything to today's low, 434.91. Now, it's a poor low in ES. It is not in SPY. And then below that, we have all these other things from the 9th, which you should have all written down, right? The single prints, the lap, the daily low, the gap, and then last week's low. Now, let's go to the chart. And I'm just going to show you, again, I'll recap everything on Friday, the other 3. But to keep these videos fairly short, let me just do the SPY. Now, here's your daily. So we're back to balance, right? We went bull, back to balance. So now the question is tomorrow, do we come out of balance bull again? Do we come out of balance bear? Remember, we came out of balance bear 5 days ago. Spent 1 day down there. Today's entire range is the balance. Volume right now, almost 60 million, so it's better than the last 2 days, no doubt. We did 52 million, including the after hours. But it's still nothing. So even with these moves, the volume isn't that great. Now, granted, we are in balance. The POC is almost around the same for the last 3 days, the volume POC. So it is a market in the daily time frame waiting for more MGI. Besides that, what I did today in the room, it is people talking about, do you do webinars, this and that. This is a live webinar. I can't put it any better. It's a live webinar every day in my trading room. The profile's being streamed live, and you're getting what the market's doing along with what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, whether it's right or wrong. So it is a live, people say, do you do 3-week courses? Do you do webinars? I do a webinar every day, and it's for $30 a month. So if you want to learn the profile, if you want to learn the trade, if you want to learn both sides of the market, why it's happening, what we're expecting, come join us at camelbacktrading.org. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.